Today I'm going to show you how to make a macrame feather wall hanging. As you can see, I'm already part way through. I've got a stick I collected from the beach. I've got some macrame yarn in 3 different colours, and as you can see I've made a start. I've also got a dog pet hairbrush that's going to comb out our feathers once we've got to that point. But first, how to make the feathers. Just cut a length of yarn, fold it in half so you've got a loop, then thread the 2 ends through and give it a tug. And that forms the spine of your feather if you like. I don't need it that long, let me shorten it. Then you're going to cut some length about the width of your top width of your feather. So I'm going to go for that length. Let me just tell you how long that is. Oh, it's 7 inches, I don't think it needs to be that long really. Let's go for 6. So we're just going to create some loops again. So fold your first piece in half, place it underneath your spine, fold your next piece in half, and we're going to pull that up through the first fold, over the spine, and then we're going to pull the other side through. So you're creating a knot. Give it a good tug. I'm going to stop my spine from twisting as we go. So let me show that out to you again. You don't need to cut to your length precisely because we're going to trim feather shape when we get there. So you fold it in half, place it under the spine, fold the next one in half, pass it up through that fold, over the spine, and then pull those threads through. And you're just going to keep going until you've got the length of your desired feather. I'm going to make different lengths of feathers for this wall hanging. So now I'm going to make some that are 5 inches and then possibly get down to 4 inches, but it just gets too fiddly to get really far down and you'll need to trim that. So make some slightly shorter, but make sure you can still do the knot satisfactorily. It just gets a bit more fiddly as the threads get shorter. As I say, we can trim the feather shape once we've got as many yarn pieces on as we would like. Once you've satisfied with the amount of yarn you've got on, I'm going to shape it into a feather shape. Trying to keep each side similar lengths. Right, I've gone slightly shorter on the right to the left. There we go. So the next step is to unravel the thread. Now you can just do this with a pet brush, but I'm going to start by physically doing it with my hands. So you're just untwisting the yarn. It's a little fiddly as you can see, but it's worth doing, so let's do that and then I'll show you how to brush it with a pet brush. So now I've untwisted the yarn, I'm going to brush it, and the more you brush it, the softer it becomes. Obviously I don't want to accidentally undo the knots. You can already see that's a little bit softer on this side. Do ensure you're holding your yarn down. I've just had one pop off. Now I've brushed them, I can see they're not quite as well shaped as I originally thought. I'm just going to trim them a little. I'll just do those ends. Once you're satisfied with your shape, you can spray it with some fabric stiffening spray. That will help the feathers from dropping when they're hanging. And basically you're just going to carry on filling your branch with as many feathers as you'd like. But either working with Automate this one, she made it not as close to the branch, but we can easily just, at this stage, slide it up. As you can see, I've got quite a few feathers made. I've got a few in progress this end of my hanging. But I thought I'd show you how to stiffen the feathers up using a fabric stiffening spray. So I'm going to take my feathers off. And I'm going to give it a spray. I'm going to turn it over and spray the other side. Now you can always reshape at this point whilst your feather dries. I'm just going to trim that a little. It's not as nicely trimmed as I'd remembered. And I'm just going to set that aside to dry. That should take about an hour to dry. So the final stage is to hang your macrame feather wall hanging. So let me show you how to do these knots. So I'm reusing this string that I'd already done it on, so apologies if it's a bit wrinkly. So the first thing you're going to do is fold a loop and thread it round and pass the two ends through. Like you did to hang your feather. And then we're simply on this side going to tie a knot. So the short end is going to go over round, under and through. And you're going to slide that knot down. So that side is complete. Now let's do the other side. So this is slightly more complicated. Pass your thread over, under. Now you're going to go over the top of your thread, and then under your branch, your pole, back up the front, and you're going to go under your loop, there you go, you've created that knot, and then simply knot your thread off and trim. One beautiful macrame feather wall hanging. I'm going to make a second, and I'm going to make it just in cream macrame cord, and I'm going to dip the ends into indigo dye and see how that looks. Enjoy making, have fun with your colours. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe below.